Your Creative Push, episode 99.
Find the way that you can make it work. You are epic. You can do anything. Just fucking do it.
Welcome to Your Creative Push, the podcast that pushes you to pursue your creative passions. I'm your host, Youngman Brown, and my guest today is Daniel Rolnik. Daniel is an art blogger, art critic, and the creator of the Daniel Rolnik Gallery, a brick-and-mortar store that showcases original art and prints collected from his adventures across the United States of America. On his road trips, Daniel discovers unique works of art that he brings back to his ever-evolving gallery. And Daniel, first of all, thank you for coming on the show.
Epic, dude. Thank you.
Epic. I love it. What inspired you to kind of start your gallery?
I was writing about art and curating shows for my friends and their wonderful, beautiful galleries. And I just saw things that I wanted to do in a different way. I wanted to make art affordable and accessible to everyone. And I wanted it to be easy and I wanted it to be fun when you go in and not cold, like the white Wallians, as I call them, keep it with their white walls and cold vibe. I wanted to make the complete opposite. So then I got the chance to open a gallery. My friend was moving locations and he needed someone to take over his sublet. And I thought about it one night and woke up and said, I'll do it. And I just did it.
That's so cool. And what gives you that inspiration to kind of, because I think a lot of people, they think about things too long before they kind of jump into it. I think that's a lot of people's problem, myself included. You just think and think and think about all the things that can kind of go wrong. What inspired you to kind of get past that and just say, I'm going to do it? Epic.
Epic, dude. It's exactly what you said, man. You just got to not think. You got to do it. If you feel it and, you know you can do it, just do it. There's no reason to think about it. So many creative people and non-creative people spend their entire lives thinking, what if I get this right? What if I get that right? I need to wait for this. You don't need to wait. You just got to do it, and you're going to fall, and you're going to get back up, and you're not going to fall that bad. Like, you fell off your bike, you got back up, you bruised your knee, but you were 5, and now you're however old you are, and you've totally forgotten about that. So you just got to do it. It's really... It sounds so dumb and simple, but it's just about doing it.
Absolutely. And that's part of this podcast is just the daily reminder that it is that simple, you know. It's just a matter of kind of doing it every day and just going for it.
Yeah, man, you got to believe. To me, the most inspiring people are my dad and the musician Charles Bradley. See, he was like 62 when he got discovered, and he just, kept believing and kept doing it, and he cried. You battled, but you just did it every day.
Absolutely. And so what is the importance for you to make art affordable? Is that just a result of the types of artists that you like to show, or is it just your mission to make it affordable for the customer?
For me, when I was a little kid, I thought art was stupid as fuck. I thought it was boring. And then my dad took me to a show where he saw that Mickey Mouse was going to be decapitated. And it was an accident I think he saw Weird Mickey Mouse and, he's a cool dad, and he took me and my brother, and I was like, wow, this is what art can be. This is amazing. And then, we kept going to shows because I really fell in love with what was happening in that lowbrow art scene, as it's called. And, eventually I was able to get prints, and through my dad would help me. I was only like 5 or 6 or something. Can't be slanging prints, but they weren't expensive. They were like $20. And that's so inspiring, and it kept me feeling creative. And I just feel like art and creativity is the greatest thing in the world. And I want to be able to get it to as many people as possible because, it's the way to disrupt your culture. It's the way to make a space yours. It's the way to really showcase your own personality. And if I can make that accessible to everyone, then everyone can show their personality and everyone can be unique. That's kind of my mission.
Absolutely. I think it's a very important mission, and congratulations to you for doing it. What's your favorite part then about having the gallery?
Oh man, my favorite part is every day I get to have fun with people and share things that I love that I hope that they'll love too. And then they share with me things that they love as well. And then it just becomes this amazing thing where we just have all this great energy, fun, and hope for the future. And I don't know, there's no direct answer. It's just all of those things combined.
Yeah, I'm sure it changes and evolves every day, but that's the importance of just doing it.
Like literally, I build everything on wheels because I build all the furniture in the space so that I can make it more affordable. And then I just moved this giant table I built that I can't even leave the gallery with because it's too big. And I just moved that to a whole new place in the room, just rearrange everything. And I do that every single day to create a different atmosphere. So it's new every single time you come in.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I guess it doesn't really, does that feel like work every day, or is that just kind of part of the creative process for you?
It's my own creative challenge. It's my own way of, my creative challenge is the psychology of people, right? How they interact with things, what they like, what draws them in. How can I showcase art that I love in a way that I can make them see what I love in it so that they might love it too? So I got to change things all the time to adapt.
And part of that is, so you travel around and find different pieces of art. How often are you traveling? And can you tell me a little bit about what that's like?
Oh yeah, man. Like I feel like anybody who goes on road trips, the major ones started when I felt like major heartbreak, Boo Hoo Hoo got broken up with a girl, went across the whole country. That was my way of release. And, drove across the entire country visiting artist studios, and artists brought me in, and they would let me stay with them, and they would share their experiences with me, and I'd share what little or insanely annoying facts I knew with them. and then, that made me fall in love with art even more. So now every Sunday and Monday, since we're closed at the gallery here, I'll be on the road, some new place I've never been. Like with my girlfriend now, we always go, where have we never been? Let's go there. And we go check out what's happening with the art and nature, and all these things kind of combine into what feeds into the gallery. So it might not be a piece I bring home. It might be a color palette I see, and then I change the entire walls to that. Or it might be some artist I see in a cafe, and I'm like, damn, that's good. I got to bring it in here. So all these things kind of combine together into like a jambalaya or gumbo.
I love it. So for a lot of people listening today, many of whom have never sold a piece or maybe even never thought about selling their work, because like you said, like the white wallers,
yeah,
that's like a very intimidating thing. But what kind of advice would you give to them?
First off, you got to make the art because you love to make it. You got to keep making it every single day or as much as you can. If you have to work 3 jobs because that's how you have to do to support your family, and you can only make art 1 day a week, you have that time dedicated, do that 1 day a week as much as you can. And the more you do it and the more you love to do it, you'll develop a style and be able to share your passion with others in a way you're not conscious of. And then eventually, when you feel like you're ready to sell, price low, which I call pricing aggressive. And when I mean low, don't price low compared to what you're seeing. Price low compared, meaning what's the least amount of money you can take for it. If a piece costs you $1 to make and you can take 25 cents on it, as profits, you could sell for $1.25. Take that. If you need 50 cents, sell for $1.50. And that's super low, but that's how you can get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and then once you kind of get the ball rolling, then you don't really know exactly where you'll end up. But it is important to take those first steps, even if you might have to get rid of your babies for kind of cheap.
The thing is like when you view it as cheap, sometimes people view it as not good. But the thing is people are getting to know you. That they might not know your work right now. So if you could just get it into 1 home, then you can get into 2 homes. If you can get into 2 homes, you can get into 3 homes. If you can get into 3, you can get into 4. And you just keep doing that. And it might not be right away. It might take a year. There's works in the gallery where I've seen it and it took a year for someone else to see what I saw in it. It just takes the right person, the right time, the right amount of trust.
Going along with that, do you have any kind of favorite stories that really stick out to you about maybe a certain artist or a certain piece that has a pretty cool story with it?
Oh man, to me, all the artists I work with are super inspiring, but I tend to show an artist named John Kilduff a lot because he's one of the most inspiring people. Every single day he does a plein air painting. So he'll go out to some place and do a traditional plein air, and then every single day he'll also film a live YouTube show that he's been doing for 20 years straight. So it started on public access, and then he transitioned to YouTube, and he'll do a new series just about every week. The guy is just an output machine, and that's so inspiring. So no matter what, he's going to output something. Like we came up with the idea to do a man cave show. He made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, giant original paintings plus a giant cardboard pinball machine. And he just had the idea. He did it. He executed, and we put it up. It was pretty simple. The idea took a swift time to create, and he made it and blew all of our minds. So.
A cardboard pinball machine?
Yeah, imagine a full-size pinball machine, but it's all made out of cardboard and 4 wooden legs. And then the pullback part, where you pull back to shoot that metal ball up into the machine, is actually a screwdriver handle. And he used the tops of paint, things of acrylic paint, like the plastic tubes, as the side bumpers. And, to create this it doesn't take a lot of time. It's not expensive. And then sometimes he gets excited and he doesn't want to part with it for a little bit, but the same time we have pieces here by him that are $50 that are full oil paintings, and we've been selling a lot of these ones of angry bananas dancing. And his whole slogan is embrace failure, and failure is spelt wrong. He spells it Failare. And that's the whole idea. Just embrace what you're going to do wrong and just do it and get it done.
Yeah, and that's super inspiring to just not only hear that, which is like we talk about on the show a lot, is, embracing the failure and looking at it as an opportunity to learn and to never do it again. And then just kind of looking for the next opportunity to fail as well. I think that's really important. But also just the output that he's able to just put all that work in. It's really inspiring.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's another artist I show, Alden Marin, and he's the same thing. He comes in with wine boxes filled, stacked. Each one has 200 original paintings in it. And he'll paint on everything from receipts that he's had, potato chips he finds on the ground and glues to boards that he gets for free from a frame store because they're weird cuts that they can't use. So then we sell a ton of those too because he's just an output machine. So output machines are inspiring to me. They just keep making.
Can you tell me? I read about this thing called Record Club that you have. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So one of the artists I show, Keith Dugas, he goes by Cross, Krossd. He has this insane record collection. He's one of those dudes on record store day where he camps out, for hours before and has his whole list ready to go a month ahead of time. And so I was like, dude, I'm going to buy a record player just to play your record. So I literally went across the street from where the first gallery was to, embarrassingly enough, American Apparel. And, even worse, Urban Outfitters, grand thieves of the art world. I went to the Grand Thief. I bought a record player, and then we just invited people to hang out. And he brings his record collection, and it's just fun. He brings art supplies too, so then everyone can draw. And I buy pizza for everyone. It's just a mellow, easy way to meet your favorite artists and hang out with them and actually draw with them without the cool club. There's no cool table. We all sit around the same table.
No cool club. I like that. I think that's like one of the really, really important things that people kind of forget about that really can help you out as an artist or any type of creative person. It's finding like-minded people, and even the act of just sitting and doing art with them is so powerful. It's not just the conversation that you can have, but it's just the actual act of physically being in the presence of other kind of like-minded people. It can inspire you so much, especially when you have some cool records playing.
Oh, yeah. And one guy might have some weird pen and they'll show this girl and she'll be like, oh, damn, that's the craziest pen I've ever seen. I use this paint. And then he'll be like, oh, snap, you use that paint. But I mean, that's how the artists nerd out. I just nerd out because I'm like, look at all these guys and girls like creating right here in this little space. It's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Another good way to connect with people is podcasting. And obviously I love podcasting, but I know that you are a part of a podcast too. Can you tell me about The Jew and the Lotus?
Oh yeah, dude. So The Jew and the Lotus is a podcast that I do with my personal hero, Eric Nakamura, who started Giant Robot Magazine, and then the store, and then the gallery, and he had a restaurant at one point, and he had shops all over the country at one point. He's just my hero because he is the first guy that I saw that had a little shop where it had all of his design and personality in it, but also all this unique work by artists too that was very affordable. And I would go in and buy books and zines and whatever I could every single time. I would go in, and when I've known him since I was 18 years old, and I'm 27 now. And one day he just turned to me and was like, let's do a podcast. And I didn't even think about it. I just said, yes, I'm in. Let's do this. And we've been figuring it out ever since.
I mean, that's the best mentality to have, obviously, is yes, let's do this, like we said before. But with people that maybe have a unique idea, like to create a podcast for, there is going to be somebody that is, wanting to listen to it, that they'll eventually find you. And with podcasting, it's so fun because it is easy as getting a microphone and you don't even need that good of a microphone, and just starting and then just hit publish. It's so easy to do, and anybody can do it.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. Like, we just looked it up. So I was used to using Squarespace, built a Squarespace site. Okay, that's like whatever, $12 a month with the domain and everything. And then we had some mics, and he's old school, so he wanted to use this little recorder he had. So we just go from our little mics to the recorder, and we upload it. Boom, it's done. And we constantly are trying to make the audio better, but that's like our struggle that we work on.
Yeah, and then that's the thing that I found is, I used to freak out about the audio quality and making sure everything was right. But really the most important thing is content. It's great to have good audio, but the important thing is that you're just kind of not bearing your soul, but just being as honest and authentic as you can, and just putting the best content that you can out there. That's really all that's important with really anything, not just podcasting.
Oh yeah, that's our rule on the podcast. We have to be open. We have to be willing to share uncomfortable information. Like, we talk about things like what happens when our art shows don't sell, and we say what doesn't sell, and we also say what happens when they sell a lot. So it's all about overcoming that obstacle of ego. Turtle Wayne, who I show, is an artist. He's like my guru, right? Because he's always like trying to destroy the ego. It's just about other people's, what they love. So he makes turtles for other people. He'll make turtle John Wayne. He'll make turtle Bruce Lee. But it's not for him. It's for everyone else, so that he can destroy his own view of what it needs to be. Destroy
the ego. Going along with what you just mentioned about when things don't go right, when the art doesn't sell, how do you get through that? Or are there any other things that kind of maybe hold you back on a daily basis?
Oh man, it's just patience, right? You gotta have patience. The thing that drives me crazy is when artists want their work right back immediately. And the thing is it takes time to sell work. Like I said, it takes the right person at the right time who's looking for that thing. Like, maybe today they're not interested in your painting, but 4 months from now they are interested. Because that happens all the time here. Someone buys something, and then another piece is on their mind, and then 6 months later, sometimes less, sometimes more, they come back and buy that piece. And I can only sell it to them if it's here.
Absolutely. Patience is key. Do you have any kind of suggestions for artists who maybe are starting kind of what you do, it's trying to sell it that way, or maybe making a small Etsy store or something like that, and things aren't quite going as fast as they want them to? How do you suggest them finding that patience, or maybe even doing something to kind of expedite the process?
Oh, totally. So what I would suggest doing is stick with your series no matter what, even if it doesn't sell. Create a new series based on your old series. Create a new series from nowhere. Just keep creating. That's the way you get over it. Is here every month we do a new show, and then I showcase works from the past show, and there's stuff in a store so people can buy prints and little originals that come our way. So that we're constantly creating. And that's the way you get over it. And that's the way you get the patience, is if you know you want to create so much, who cares if someone's going to buy it right away? You're going to create it anyway.
Absolutely. And if you can get right back to the paintbrush or whatever kind of tool you use to create your art, you're spending the time creating, and you're not spending the time, sitting and watching a pot never boil kind of thing.
Exactly. The more you create, the more you'll do. Like, I've heard that John Williams, the composer who did the Star Wars theme song, every single day writes something, even if it's a little bit of something. Even if it's a 2-note medley, he has every single day he writes something. And if he's the biggest composer in the world and it works for him, that it'll work a little bit for you or I.
Yeah, I love him, and I always wondered how he makes such amazing. Almost everything he creates is amazing, but I'm sure he creates some bad things too. But it's all about just the constant output, so you can kind of pull out those gems and create songs that like last forever, basically.
Oh yeah, and I mean, especially as an artist, I think so often artists forget that the material cost of what they're making is not very high. You don't have to get the fanciest paper. You don't have to get the fanciest paint. You don't have to get the fanciest canvas. You just have to get your idea out and execute.
Absolutely. That's sagely advice, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, too often people want the most expensive oil paint, the most expensive acrylic paint, but you can get the same color and the same effect with something half the price, a quarter of the price, a 16th of the price, and someone else will love it, and you'll get your idea across. So don't spend the money if you don't have to.
Yeah, not only will you get the idea across, but sometimes it might even look better, because it might be more akin to your style.
Yeah, exactly. Or it might challenge your style, and you'll get even better at when you do use that expensive paint, and when you are selling work for enough to merit it.
Do you have like a greatest inspiration, whether it's a person, a book, a piece of art, a YouTube clip, a song? Do you have a kind of a greatest inspiration that you draw from and that maybe we could as well?
Oh man, my dad is actually a really great inspiration to me, because he had a business that went bankrupt in the recession, and then instead of crying about it and whining and sitting on his ass, he got right back up and he said, I want a recession-proof job. And he sells toilet paper door to door. And before that happened, he had another pitfall where something else bad happened, and he just gets up and does it. So my dad's like the ultimate inspiration to me, because no matter what, he'll just get up and do something. There's no time to complain.
Absolutely. No time at all to complain or to sit and kind of wait for something to come your way. You got to create your own opportunities.
Yeah. You just got to be creative and create.
Daniel, it is time for the final push. And this is where I ask you to reach through the microphone and grab the shoulder of one of the listeners that you've already inspired today that's thinking, maybe I could do this too, whether it's starting their own gallery or just creating some work that they want to actually sell, or even if it's just to create the work in general, and give them your best advice and push them to do it.
Dude, you are epic. You can do anything. Just fucking do it. And find the way that you can make it work. If you want to start a gallery, start it in your apartment. Start it in a sublet. Start it in an ice cream machine. Start it in a box and put it in another space. Just fucking start it and find a way to make it happen. Because if that's what you want to do and you do it, you're going to be happier in your life, and everything will work out as long as you persevere and stay positive and get it done.
I love it, man. Epic.
Epic, dude. Epic.
I love. I really love your mentality and your positivity and just your outlook on creativity and life in general. So thank you so much for coming on the show today and for giving us that push, man.
Dude, thank you for having me. You're the wizard.
Of course, man.
Dude, Gandalf crew. You're in the Gandalf crew of wizardry.
Yes. Wow. That's an elite crew of wizards. Yep. I appreciate that. You can find Daniel on his website for the gallery at danielrolnikgallery.com. That's DanielRolnik gallery.com. On Facebook, he is Daniel Rolnik Gallery. And on Instagram and Twitter, he is Daniel Rolnik. And you can find everything we talked about today at yourcreativepush.com/Daniel Rolnik. Daniel, thanks again, brother.
Dude, thank you. Epic.
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 Oh my gosh. I mean, how fun is that guy? I just love his attitude. As I said, his attitude is just so contagious, and I really just love his spirit. And I love how he thinks about art and the types of art that he chooses to have at his gallery. It is truly epic. But I really highly encourage you to go check out everything that Daniel does, because he just, he was talking about how he likes to surround himself with, output machines, and he really is an output machine too. The way he changes his gallery every single day, that's awesome. The different events that he hosts, he does that podcast as well. He's the type of guy that's just an everyday type of inspirational dude. So definitely head over to yourcreativepush.com/Daniel Rolnik. Actually, you know what? We'll make another link. Go to yourcreativepush.com/epic. Just to make it easy for you. And you can find the show notes page for this episode with all the different resources, because there's actually a lot of resources. He did a lot of name dropping of guys that I checked out after the interview that are super inspirational as well. So if you never really check out show notes pages too often, I definitely recommend this one. You can definitely follow Daniel on all his social media outlets to get, constant inspiration, but also learn a little bit of the tricks of the trade and get a little bit further into his head as far as the types of art that he picks and how you can get some of your art sold as well. But that is all I've got for you today. Hopefully you're inspired to go and get your work done, so go and get it done. I am very excited because on Monday we have episode 100. I can't believe that it's been 100 episodes already. I have a very special episode in mind. We're going to have our first repeat guest, somebody that I've been following pretty closely since this person has been on. And I'm just really excited to talk to this person again, because a lot has happened in his or her life since we last talked. And the podcast has only been around since January, so it's pretty crazy that I've had so many inspiring guests on, and I've learned so much, and some things have changed. And that being said, we'll have a special episode this weekend, a little pre-100, maybe 99.5, I don't know. But just to let you know what is going to be happening with the podcast. It's a little bit of a call to action, a little bit of inspiration, and kind of just a reset button for the podcast. So definitely look for that this weekend. But hopefully you're inspired to do all your work throughout the weekend and beyond. I can't wait to do another 100 episodes with you guys. Thank you so much for listening, subscribing, and for all of your support. And we will catch you on Monday for episode 100. Have a great weekend. Get a lot of stuff done. I love you all. And we will catch you later. Bye.